Welcome to Michelle Humes Live. It's Jena Turner.
Hey, Michelle.
How are you, my friend?
I'm doing good. It's actually cold in Houston, so we're going to get a day of winter here, which is super exciting.
I love it, and I love you. I'm so glad you're my friend, and I'm so glad you are on our show today. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm a little bit nervous.
Oh.
I don't know that the world is ready for us.
Well, that is a concern I have as well.
Okay. These two blonde bombshells, these mamas, we're gonna take this world by storm. I don't know that they are ready for what we have to say.
Going to or are already?
Oh yeah, are already. Yeah,
I agree. Okay, so I wanted you to come on today because you are not only an incredible entrepreneur and business owner, but you are a mom to two adorable boys, a wife to a fantastic guy, and you run a brokerage. And I just admire you so much, and I love being your friend, but I thought the world needs to hear how Jena does that. So real quick, give us a background of how you got to where you are. You've had incredible growth over the last couple of years. So start there and just share a little bit about your history.
Yeah, so I've actually been licensed for 10 years this week. I don't know how that happened, but it definitely explains how often I have to have my gray hairs dyed. I don't know how 10 years passed by so quickly. So I'm 34 years old. I'm a mom of two kids. I used to want to be a professional ballerina. But I'm 5'2" and I'm kind of chubby, so that didn't work out. And so I got into real estate after working with real estate investors kind of as a consultant and helping people flip houses. I got into real estate and really did not sell one house my first couple of years because I was 24 and I was broke and I didn't know anyone who was buying houses. But I did a lot of leasing and I kept up with it. And really by year 4, I was a top producing agent in my market. And our numbers just they were doubling there for a while, but they're steadily growing still. And we went independent 2 years ago when I opened up a brokerage, and we started with 3 people, and now we've grown over 25 staff and agents this year. So I'm having to build a bigger table constantly for people to sit at in our organization. And I'm still in production. I do that with the help of a lot of admins, and then lead our agents and coach them to increase their production.
So a couple of things I want to touch on. Number one, we have agents who start in our team or on your brokerage all the time who really don't want to take leases or rental leads. And I always say, you never know what's on the other side of someone that calls up needing a rental. And that is such incredible advice, I think, that can be taken away and given to a brand new agent, because that rental can turn into $1 million buyer in 6 months. It can turn into who's their dad, who's their brother, who's their sister. Are they investors? You never know what's on the other side of a rental. And I think that is huge, fantastic advice, because look at your success now. And it started as working leases.
Yeah. And so a lot of my clients now that I've sold 1, 2, or 3 homes to were renters that I initially started working with. But when I started, I was 24 and no one I knew was really purchasing. I didn't hang out with people that had a lot of money. I was I had come from like a bartending background and waitressing. And so I kind of started where I could. And this was post-recession. And I remember an agent in my office who had been doing this for a long time was like, hey, there's no money in leases. You don't even want to mess with that. And I was like, no, I want everything that you guys won't touch because I got bills to pay. And so by the end of my first year in real estate, I was making about $10,000 a month doing leases, which was 10 times harder work than selling houses. Because these leases on average were like $800 a month. I mean, Houston's a cheap place, was a cheaper place to live. So I just did that, and I treated my renters like they were the only clients I had, because they were. And I kept in touch with them and really built a pipeline of first-time home buyers. And now those people have bought second and third homes. I've been doing this long enough to really see people from like when they started in their career, and when they were fresh out of college, to now they are telling their spouse like, oh, I've worked with Jena for 7 years, right? Because I was with them in the beginning. So I'm a big believer in rentals, and getting your foot in the door and starting somewhere just to get some momentum going in the industry.
So a lot of times people ask me how I had success my first year in real estate. And very similarly to you, I always say the same thing. I showed up every day. I showed up and asked whoever was around the office, can I go on that appointment with you? Can I go to your closing? May I go to your walkthrough? May I hold your open house for you? You don't have to pay me. I'd like to go hold the open house. I did everything I could in order to gain experience. And, this is a gritty business. If you're going to survive, and, I'm in a much smaller market than you, but if you are going to survive in a very competitive business, you better be willing to do whatever it takes to earn that business. And I think that is such a great story for new agents that you did, because here you are, the second, third, fourth iteration of helping these folks that are now having babies and moving into bigger homes. And what if you'd said no to that rental all those years ago?
Yeah, for sure. This is, that was what started me on something. I knew that I wanted to do real estate. I knew that I had the drive for it. I was the first person at the office and the last person to leave every day. And I was obsessed with working, but I had to create the work for myself. I wanted to work, but I didn't sit around waiting for someone to give me instructions. I learned a lot from my first broker. He wasn't really like a coaching type, but he was such a good real estate agent that just sitting in the room with him and listening to him negotiate and work out deals and prospects was such a good lesson for me that it became very clear to me early on that if I wanted to really succeed in this business, I had to just be in the office and start listening to what was going on around me and just jump in and take whatever I could get to start working.
So a lot of times agents ask, and are looking, they join a brokerage or they join a team because they're looking to be given some kind of a lead or some kind of business. And I understand that. I get that question a lot.
Right.
I get that question a lot. And what you just said is so powerful. You created the business out of really nowhere. You just kept looking for the business and looking for opportunity to help people and be of service. And I just think it's really obviously worked out.
Yeah, it's paid off. It's definitely paid off for sure. And, some of my biggest referral sources, I hope that they see this on social media. These guys actually have a story about me that I helped put them in like a $600 per month rental. And they said I was wearing overalls to my showing with them, which, God, it was 10 years ago, but I don't think that still makes it acceptable. So they referred to me about $3 to $4 million worth of business a year still to this day. And that started off as a $600 rental that I put them in. Joe and Brennan, I hope they see this and they know how much they mean to my life because they refer at least $3 million worth of business to me a year, off that $600 per month rental where I showed up wearing overalls of all things.
Hey, it's not always about the outfit, Jenna. Sometimes.
I guess not. You know what? Not much has changed. I'm still in my denim. So I guess not much. I really have stayed on brand, right?
Okay, I want to go back to one other thing you said. And it is, you say it again. Well, let me see if I can say it again. One other thing you said was, I have to keep making my table bigger. And I often say it is my job as a leader to raise my leadership lid so that I can make my world bigger and awesome people will be able to get inside there so that we can be together and partner together and build something incredible together. What has been your number one, what is your number one piece of advice for someone who is in leadership and wants to attract awesome people to work together? What would be your number one piece of advice?
You have to actually like people, I think. I think that's part of it. I think that like you can't BS that as a brokerage anymore. I think that with your people, we've all probably worked somewhere along the way where like the person who leads the organization is in this private office and they're kind of untouchable and they're someone that you're not talking to on a daily basis. They're not in the huddles. They have somebody for that, right? But that's not real life, and that's not real leadership. So I think what my job as a leader is to do is to see my agents like pain points before they even know it's happening. And that's really important to me because I want to enjoy the table. I want to break bread with the people who are there with me. And I want us all to grow together. One of the reasons that we went out on our own was I heard a couple of my agents and staff talking about that they couldn't afford to go out to lunch. And I was like, wait, what? Wait, we're doing this all wrong, right? Like it doesn't make sense that the people who are sitting at the table with me aren't increasing their value for their families, for their own pocketbook as well. And so that was one of the reasons we went independent at first, was because it was like, hey, let's have some control over our income a little bit and elevate everyone to the same performance level.
That is kudos to you. I think that's really cool. And I know you do that on a daily basis. We talk often about how we're building our brokerages or our brands together. And I just can't wait to see even the next steps that you're going to take with that. So let's change gears a little bit. We have a lot of women who follow us and who we are friends with and that we follow that are entrepreneurs, their wives, and their moms. And I think this is something women have in common, that when you have a lot of responsibility and a lot of not only financial responsibility, but a lot of responsibilities with your family, it is very hard to prioritize Jena, to prioritize Michelle. How are you making yourself a priority in your life? And what are you doing to, I don't even like the word balance, but how are you finding your rhythm in life in order to be a great mom, wife, and broker owner?
I'm still working on it. No, work in progress. No, you find what you're good at and you say like, I think you take ownership in it. For years, Dominic and I struggled on like, how I was going to make dinner and he was going to like what the expectations were. And honestly, like you kind of have to throw some of the expectations out and just say like, listen, let's talk honestly here. Like this is not something I enjoy doing. Michelle, you and I have talked about this before because I know you're a fabulous cook and I just wish I had 1 ounce of that talent, but like I just have to accept like that's not my thing, and so I'm going to stop trying to fit in that box, right? So what is my thing? Okay, we all have to eat every day, so maybe it looks like meal prep for my family. Maybe my husband, it says like I'll do these days, we'll do takeout this day, and we'll do meal prep or like take healthy meal prep for a couple of nights. And so I think just like everything, you have to figure out what works for your family and what doesn't. And what are the pain points, and just say like, okay, I don't do that anymore. So years ago, I made a list of just things I do not do. And I'm not going to lie to myself and say that I am going to be great at this. I'm not. I'm never going to iron clothes. Like, let's accept that and let's move on.
You can iron clothes?
I think I used to iron clothes. Yeah. Now I just go and see, I accepted that. And now I only wear denim and overalls. And so like, screw it. It doesn't even matter anymore. But like, you have to find what works for your family and what doesn't. And your business. There are pain points in our real estate business that like we could outsource. Even if you're a new agent, let's say that you hate inputting listings or you hate doing the paperwork aspects of it. I think there's a solution for that. There's a new agent next to you that just needs $20 that day. Like, have them do it, or y'all trade. Okay. You like meeting photographers and they don't. So you meet all the photographer that day and the person in the office does the paperwork. Like, you just have to find the balance that works for your family. I'm a big believer in outsourcing, but sometimes you can't afford to do that when you're starting out. You just have to figure out how to get through the stuff that you don't like or that causes you so much pressure in your life that it takes away from earning money or spending time with your family.
I am on the same page as you about that. And I think a lot of people who will watch this can relate to that. And I think as women, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves, and so much so that is unnecessary sometimes. I love that you actually look at it very pragmatically, and we can be problem solvers when it comes to that, outsourcing, trading, and just having open communication about what your family is going to prioritize as far as what's important. And I know you and I are both on a very much a health journey to making our health our priority. Not allowing at showings or even, prioritizing our sleep or health. I mean, it's hard, and children, and there's a lot of guilt that goes into that. And so I'm with you. I applaud you. I think that you're awesome. I can teach you how to cook.
No, I've accepted. I'm done with that. I'm done. That is closed. It's over. I'm good with it. But I would love to find joy in it. I think a lot of times, like, especially I'm in the daycare world, right? Like, my kids are little bitty, and sometimes, and we've talked about this before, sometimes it's hard to be a business owner and a leader to so many salespeople, right? Who are amped up on a different level. And then like fit in at the playground and what that looks like. And I've had some people say some pretty snarky things to me over the years about like, why don't you just want to be a better mom? And like, why do you want this business thing? And so sometimes I think that that's an insecurity with them and something that makes them uncomfortable, but I'm not making me uncomfortable with that anymore. And I think that once you really, as a woman and as a leader and as a business owner, you have to come to a point where you're like, that makes that person uncomfortable. That doesn't make me uncomfortable. And I'm sorry that it makes them uncomfortable, but I'm good. I'm good with it, and find peace in that.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I saw something right as the new year rolled around that was really, it inspired me in the same way. And it was, I am not going to water myself down. So it makes those around me more comfortable. And as women, the more we say that and the more we own our truth and who we are, I have guilt about not washing my kids' clothes. And I have guilt that at the circle drop off and pick up, they don't know who I am, because that isn't something that I do. But you know what? My purpose and my mission is to help women and help agents, men, whoever, it doesn't matter, to help them live a full life. And my kids will understand that one day. And I think they understand it now, honestly, because they understand the responsibility and the mission that our family is on to change other people's lives. And at the end of the day, that's all that matters, right? And so I'm with you. I salute that. More women need to be talking about it, because men, I have so many fabulous men agents that work with us and employees and everything. I love strong men in business as well. And this is not a slight to men, Men don't get caught up in stuff like this.
Yeah.
Men don't do this to one another, actually. A man has a problem with another man. He says, hey, I have a problem with that. And then they move on. A woman has another problem with a woman. They go all the way around, and it's inherent to not handle things head on like that. And I am just determined to have a frank, transparent conversation about this time and time again, so that we as women can be better for one another. And I think you're such a fantastic example of that.
Thank you. I hope to be. I think that's my job, right? I think that it's my job in my MLS. I think it's my job with people who are my competitors to say, like, why can't we just all have one big ass table? Am I allowed to say ass, Michelle? I'm sorry.
Twice.
Why can't we have a really big table and we all just understand each other, that like, you have your goals, I have my goals. They may be different, but like, let's see you on the other side of the finish line. I think that makes us all better leaders. It makes us better realtors when we don't get caught up in the like comparing ourselves to what somebody else is doing.
So I've been a stay-at-home mom not that long ago. I've been a teacher, a high school teacher, and I have been a realtor and now business owner. And I can tell you that every woman walking those paths has their own struggles. We all have struggles. We all have insecurities. I'm not sitting here on this Michelle Humes Live with you saying I don't have insecurities. I do. I occasionally feel guilty and bad that I don't go to the pickup to get my kids, right? And I struggle with it and struggle with the balance of it. And yet at the end of the day, we're all alike. We have so much more in common than we are different. And I love finding ways to celebrate one another as opposed to finding the thing that makes them different or makes them them. So that's my take on it.
Yeah, for sure. And for example, I need to try some of your great cooking. I would love to celebrate that aspect of your success. And you know what? I bet my husband would too. Just send a plate on down to Texas for us. We'd be thrilled to encourage that.
You know what's funny? I'm happy to do that. What's funny is our coach, John Cheplack, who is always doing fantastic videos and teaching us so much about life, was talking the other day about what makes you happy. What really makes you happy. And so, of course, cooking is something that just makes me so happy. It makes me so happy to cook for other people. It makes me happy to cook for my family. And I don't always have time or make time to cook and do that. And so after having built a business for so many years, it's finally time where I'm like, okay, that actually makes me really happy. And I'm going to spend some time, even if it's just on Sunday, I'm going to cook and enjoy it and fly my friends from Houston to have my cooking.
That's what I need.
Yeah. Because what does make you happy? I think that's so important. And it's not just about building a big business. I think it's great to be successful. It's also really great to be happy and have fantastic friends and family and create those memories together.
Yeah, for sure. I really love renovating houses, which is a very expensive hobby.
Really? Can you just add a second story to a house?
Yeah, I took off the roof of a 100-year-old home and added a second floor, but I'm going to live in this house for sure, at least for a minute. And see that and going by the construction site and wondering what light fixtures are going to go in and picking out, those things. That is something I really enjoy. And it's not that far off from real estate, but it's something that I enjoy a lot and I know a lot about. And I think I enjoy that way too much, but I can only do that maybe once a year, once every other year. It's not my everyday thing.
So I love that. I want to see some of your projects. Do you have them posted on your Facebook at all?
Yeah, I post a lot about our construction process and what that looks like. I have a couple of finished projects. I told Dominic we'd renovate our master bathroom and it'd take 2 weeks, and 3 months later we just finished it. So I need to take pictures of this master bathroom of the house that we're fixing to list for sale. And I just have so much fun sharing where we get supplies and what kind of finishes we're picking out and what that actually looks like from start to finish. So if people follow me on social media, they're going to see some of that.
Jena Turner Casey. Okay, Jena Turner, I'm going to put you up for some kind of a show. How do I do that? How do I go to HGTV and say, this is the funniest person I know, and I am going to send in a tape?
Well, I don't know how you would do that. And I don't know that I want that. I don't know that the world's ready yet, Michelle Humes.
No, they are. I can't see the comments on Facebook, but I bet people watching are going to agree with me.
Chip and JoJo, move on over. It's the Jena show. I'm wearing my overalls and my denim jacket, and we are going to take the world by storm. I may actually have to retire from real estate because I would become so popular on HGTV, don't you think?
I do. Oh, Jena Turner. Okay, let's wrap it up. One last piece of advice or something that you want the viewers to take away about Jena Turner that is making the world a better place or could encourage a new agent. Just one thing that you think you focus on that could help someone that's watching.
I have been really changed by starting to make very small changes in my life lately. I used to, like, beginning of the year, put out like these crazy goals that were they were maybe attainable, but they weren't like, they wouldn't get me instant gratification. Like I wouldn't accomplish something right away. And so this is a year of like 30 resolutions, and they're tiny stuff. They may be little things around the house and my personal life, little things that cause me stress every day, little situations that I can improve, like where's dinner coming from? And so I am encouraging our agents. I made everybody make a list all week long of all the little things in their life that are taking up space. And I want them to see some success with starting to cross those little things off the list, that pile that you've never gotten to on your kitchen counter, the lead that you dropped the ball on and you feel guilty about, the CRM that you haven't spent enough time in, like those little things that just kind of hang over us every night. And I want to start getting rid of those items. So that's my focus for my team and me this year. And we're starting off with just super small, but a lot of micro commitments that we can start knocking off right away.
So if you want to succeed in life, you want to succeed in business, in your personal life, wherever it is, make the list of micro commitments day by day that will move your business and your life and your health forward. And go from there, small, little micro commitments. And those little micro commitments really add up. And I think that is the great way to end our podcast together, Jena.
Thank you so much, Michelle. I had so much fun with you.
You know, there's a lot of great information here. I hope our viewers will take time to watch this because I think that this is inspiring. I think that you are inspiring, and I can't thank you enough for your time. You are just a force to be reckoned with. I cannot wait to see what you do over the next few years because I know it's big things, and I can't wait to be a part of it. So thank you for being here.
All right. You're the first house on my HGTV episode, Michelle.
I'm in.
I'm coming
in. My resolution is to be fully transparent this year, good, bad, and ugly. The world is not ready for that. And so I'm in. I'm ready for
Thank you, Michelle. You've shared so much with me in 2020. I can't wait to see what I learned from you in 2021. It's going to be a great year.
It is. All right, you guys, to learn more, michellehumes.com. And you can find Jena on all social media platforms. Take a follow from her and you will be inspired and you will laugh. So make it a great day, everybody. Take care. See you next time.
Bye, Michelle.